Hello, I'm the Deer Runner, and in this analysis video, I'll be continuing my chronological look at My Hero Academia for anything relevant to Deku's original Quirk. Which superpowers in the world are called quirks. According to my research, Deku's original quirk is a powerful scanning quirk that attempts to fulfill Deku's desires by mentally and physically manipulating Deku to make him do exactly what it determines he should do, according to what it scans for, but it has a lot of issues. This will contain spoilers for the My Hero Academia series. This is your final spoiler warning. Due to the fact the hero side most trusted parts knows of Deku's original quirk, as shown in my part 6 of the series with Gran Torino testing Deku's original quirk, and the reasons why it is heavily classified, All Might, who would be one of the few people that would be told, understood any test they give Deku, his original quirk probably would be able to cheat. Unless they pre-plan. Since this event, the final exam practical, was to address the main problems with the students, which in this case was the severe relationship problems between Bakugo and Deku. All Might would want this to be done properly, which, since All Might is the teacher most tied to the problems, he was logically and luckily chosen to run the test. That was basically a two-person team versus one of the teachers match, which in this case the opponent is All Might. We look at the rules to start to understand how did All Might alter it to counteract Deku's original quirk. The students' only options to win were either going through the escape gate, located at one part of the edge of the arena, or slip at least one of the handcuffs onto the teacher's hand, which those handcuffs don't open, they just get slipped on without locking, symbolizing capture. Which the students only need to slip a handcuff on one of their hands to win. Which if neither of those trajectories were completed before the half-hour time limit, they would lose. Also, if both are knocked out, they will have the same result. With All Might being given the job of running the test, he was given the authority to choose the arena, which he would choose one that can be used to counter Deku's original quirk. Looking at how the city environment arena was altered to do that, at a first glance, throughout the entire arena, Deku's original quirk would easily be able to keep track of All Might and then manipulate Deku to move fast and in an undetectable way through the many buildings and alleys, get to the escape gate. But at the escape gate, the part chosen to have it was partially outside the city with a lot less cover, which at the very start, All Might launched a full-blown attack from the escape gate, removing practically everything Deku's original quirk could use to have Deku sneak through, therefore created a bottleneck that can be easily guarded by All Might to not allow Deku's original quirk to slip by on its own to win. Which only option that was left was to work with Bakugo to overwhelm All Might, to either make it through the escape gate or slip a handcuff on All Might. Which, with how All Might is on a completely different level than both of them individually, therefore, as long as All Might was careful, the only way Deku's original quirk could win is to work together with Bakugo. The goal of the final exam, practical. The way this event started had unfortunately disrupted Deku's original quirk severely. The most important role of Deku's original quirk is that it attempts to fulfill Deku's desires, therefore to figure out what it was trying to do always comes down to what desires activated it. Which Deku's desire was an utter mess. The intense argument between Deku and Bakugo, with Deku logically thinking All Might is so overpowered compared to them, had turned into an obvious, fearful, strong desire, with Bakugo being so unreasonable trying to fight All Might head-on alone, which had to have activated Deku's original quirk to fulfill the desire of not attacking All Might, in some way.
Normally I'd suggest that we analyze the villain's combat ability and choose to fight them or run away based on that. But in this case, the villain is All Might, so we don't need to think about it because combat is out of the question. It'd be impossible to beat him in a fight.
I'm not gonna run away from this fight.
You know what All Might can do. It's impossible for you to win in a fight against him.
Which, though Deku would know none of his other students had been able to avoid combat with teachers, so would at least fight to run away to the escape gate. This would probably remove all chances Deku would try to win through the slipping the handcuff on All Might, as that would require a direct, constant, focused attack on All Might. Which, since Deku's original Quirk's most prominent ability is to instantly take advantage of any opening, it should have been able to easily slip a handcuff on All Might. But the desire Deku showed would block it, and by how the event played out, it clearly did so, leading to severe problems when facing All Might, as they'd be unable to beat him in a fight. And the other problematic desire was not as bad, but since Deku desired to help Bakugo strongly...
You make sure that you're the winner! I always admired you for that! Don't you dare say that you'd rather lose! You can't say you're okay with losing! You're you because you never give in.
Which was sort of what All Might wanted them to do, though Deku's original Quirk was close to doing the right thing. There wasn't enough scannable data to guarantee Deku's original Quirk would understand it has to work with Bakugo to win the test, which, if you look at the fact, All Might had to have known Deku's original Quirk would try to cheat like it did in the UA entrance exam, scanning around to learn about the secret rules it can take advantage of to win. All Might would keep the information hidden in a way that long-range scanning can't detect. And since All Might, after he cleared the escape gate of all the things Deku's original Quirk could use to sneak by, All Might left the area not coming back, so wouldn't be able to be scanned, or All Might planning to guard it from Deku if he tried to get to the escape gate by himself. Which later on it will be shown Deku's original Quirk will hinder Deku to make sure Bakugo will get through the escape gate, instead of doing what the best choice, both charging full strength at All Might, so at least one of them makes it through the escape gate. So the desire only focused on helping Bakugo. Now we look step by step through the match to see what Deku's original Quirk did. First, Bakugo trying to find All Might to fight him head on, got them quickly spotted by All Might, but far away from the escape gate when it happened. Now to look for what Deku's original Quirk did when faced with that problem, first when All Might found them, Deku and Bakugo were close by to each other, about the same distance from All Might, which at this point Deku's original Quirk would start forcing Deku to do actions that, even if he doesn't realize it, would be the best things he could have done, as long as the before mentioned malfunctions don't interfere. Which Deku jumped away, leaving Bakugo behind, but jumped to an area he'd be in an open, unable to run from All Might if he was pursued. Standing there, not moving, having All Might know he does not need to chase Deku immediately, due to Deku didn't run away effectively, and instead choose to fight Bakugo, who blatantly was asking for it and not taking no for an answer. Looking at how if Deku attacked All Might, he'd be beaten up. If he ran for an alley, he'd be beaten up before he could reach it, as All Might would make sure Deku wouldn't get away. If he stayed next to Bakugo, they'd both be beaten up. If he interacted more with Bakugo, he'd have a high chance of being beat up by Bakugo, then All Might would easily beat them up. Which means every option would have had Deku beaten up, so though Deku's original Quirk plan was to get Bakugo through the escape gate, at the point it was clear Bakugo getting beaten up without Deku getting beaten up was the best option, leaving Deku unharmed and able to look for an opening at a distance. After Bakugo was handled by All Might went to Deku, which he knew that Deku's original Quirk can make Deku move perfectly to try to slip a handcuff on All Might, and clearly had positioned Deku to be able to be easily got to. Therefore, it would look to be some sort of trap, luring All Might over to Deku, which All Might in response maneuvered to avoid any possible secret attack by using his super speed, directly getting behind Deku, which the human body can't really turn around and attack effectively fast enough, so the safest spot for All Might to get close to Deku. Plus, All Might kept his hands securely on his hips, in an intimidating pose, therefore no way to slip a handcuff on. Then All Might safely waited, observing Deku to see what Deku's original quirk would do to figure out what it was planning. Cautious approach. Deku's turnaround looked scared and jumped backwards a far distance in response, but that was more than enough time for Bakugo to fly in their direction to attack, as he was dead set on attacking All Might, which led to a mid-air collision between Deku and Bakugo, having them crash, then fall to the ground. But due to Bakugo's incredible mobility, reflexes, and acceleration and speed, there was really no way that would have ended in a collision unless Deku's original quirk timed it, and on top of that, aimed it, which had basically no chance otherwise. Which, since every second Bakugo was fighting All Might he could lead to his defeat, Deku's original quirk decided to stop Bakugo from reaching All Might by having Deku jump back to collide with Bakugo to buy time. At this point, I believe Deku's original quirk tried to call a timeout by taking advantage of the fact All Might wasn't there to just defeat them, but instead have them work together to heal the relationship problems. So Deku's original quirk focused on embarrassing Bakugo and Deku as much as possible, showing All Might he needed to lecture Bakugo to stop his stubborn bad plan to fight All Might, which Deku's original quirk did this by, after embarrassing them with a mid-air collision, Deku rushed up to Bakugo, ignoring All Might without looking at All Might, while also distracting Bakugo from All Might, having neither of them focus on All Might, taking your eyes away from the enemy, while allowing Bakugo to yell at Deku, stating he won't run.
Kachan, out of the way!
Haven't you been listening to me? It'd be insane to fight him
Shut
head
up,
on!
scum! I will win this!
At the very least, we should be trying to avoid him!
Get your hands off!
Which All Might knew Deku's original quirk would not allow Deku to make that mistake of them looking away from the enemy unless it was on purpose. Which, with how big of a mess they looked to be, All Might knew it was telling him to fix the situation, and decided to do it through lecturing after a few painful steps for Bakugo and Deku. First, All Might tested to see if Deku's original quirk would not fight back to confirm it's trying to call a timeout by restraining Deku with a very pronounced and well in advance announced attack, which took 5 seconds after All Might started to say he's attacking, which gave Deku plenty of time to dodge.
Get your hands off of me!
Incoming, heroes! I have a special gift for the one who wants to run!
And scanning would give him more time, but instead of dodging, Deku got pinned down with the metal fence post, which All Might expected would happen, so this small test confirmed Deku's original quirk was trying to call a timeout to have All Might try to reason with Bakugo, by allowing All Might restrain Deku so it looks like he doesn't have to worry about Deku to focus on Bakugo. Then All Might punched Bakugo so hard he threw up, so unable to fight back, allowing All Might to freely lecture him. Deku's original quirk knew Deku could have at any time escaped the restraints with using One for All, but instead Deku didn't charge up, watching All Might lecture Bakugo for a long time. Deku even was clearly struggling to get out without using his powers, which clearly needed a lot of mental manipulation for him not to do that obvious solution, which was Deku's original quirk holding Deku back so that the lecture can happen. Eventually, during the lecturing, Bakugo basically said to All Might, "Shut up and end the match."
Shut up, All Might. If I'm so bad that I have to get help from a weakling like him, then I'd rather lose this. Do you hear me?
Which, that was not what Deku's original quirk wanted to hear, and realized this probably means the lecturing was about to be ended and Bakugo was about to be taken out. Deku's original quirk released restraints on Deku's mind to allow him to use One for All, and he powered up, which After that, All Might, seeing the lecturing was going nowhere, basically stated, "This is your fault and I hope you learn from this," then raising his fist to finish Bakugo off, which with Deku now powered up, swooped in, saving Bakugo by punching him, then with that momentum, carry the stunned Bakugo into the alley, escaping All Might without Bakugo resisting as he was stunned with a full-blown punch to the face, instead of trying to use a much less aggressive move, making sure Bakugo would not resist, which is a behavior that has been observed before by Deku's original Quirk, punishing Deku to make sure he makes the right choice, after he had resisted, as seen in the UA Sports Festival, which is in part 5 of the series. Due to the fact All Might had his hand exposed to punch Bakugo, Deku could have easily slipped a handcuff on All Might, which Deku's original Quirk would have unless it was prevented, which is the first clear sign Deku's original Quirk is avoiding the capture strategy, showing that Deku's desires to avoid fighting All Might had effectively stopped Deku from using the capture strategy, which All Might soon after the thought he let his guard down and didn't see that coming, as All Might could see Deku could have easily slipped a handcuff on him, so should have won. Due to Bakugo's behavior distracted All Might, and All Might fell for Deku's original Quirk act, making Deku look trapped.
I didn't expect young Midoriya to swoop in like that. I let my guard down.
All Might could see, since he wasn't captured and had addressed it strongly, something was off. But I don't think All Might was sure Deku can use the capture strategy, as All Might will be shown to continue trying to avoid losing through capture later on by keeping his hands protected around Deku. As they were safely hidden from All Might, Bakugo finally came around to working with Deku to get to the escape gate, but Bakugo clearly aggressively took command and limiting Deku's original Quirk options, as none of his ideals would be considered in his anger, which Deku's original Quirk would have been able to have them move fast and in an undetectable way as it scans for All Might and then adjust the movement accordingly, get them safely and fast to the escape gate, bottleneck through the buildings and alleys. But instead, since much of their time was wasted, Bakugo decided they will attack All Might, who is close by searching for them, with high-powered attacks, to stun him to be able to quickly make a break for the escape gate. But before the ambush happened, All Might thought specifically that since Deku is hiding, he may be planning to make a break for the escape gate, but he did not mention Bakugo.
Where did young Midoriya run off to? Since he's hiding, does that mean he's planning to make a break for the escape gate?
Which was All Might thinking about Deku's original Quirk ability to do that, which would be strongly on All Might's mind, therefore why Bakugo was omitted from that thought. The ambush did stun All Might, but we can see Deku didn't run immediately to the escape gate after that ambush, which was because since Deku's original Quirk won't leave Bakugo behind, it forced Deku to wait till Bakugo went by and then quickly caught up to stay by Bakugo in case he needed help, which Bakugo did yell at Deku, basically saying, "Why aren't you moving?" as he rushed past Deku.
Run, you idiot! Oh, right!
Which is the first sign of Deku's original Quirk malfunctioning in its attempt to get Bakugo through the escape gate. Regardless if Deku does as well, the strategy had them get right next to the bottleneck at the escape gate when All Might caught up to them. Deku and Bakugo tried to fight, but All Might easily handled them, which, with them working together, they eventually got an opening, allowing Bakugo to use his power to fling Deku a large distance most of the way to the escape gate, then hold back All Might to let Deku get through the escape gate to win. But Bakugo didn't realize Deku's original Quirk would try to resist, leaving him behind, but fortunately for Bakugo, he lucked out, as he actually broke through the problem by activating Deku's original Quirk's social phobia weakness, which it will abandon any plan to hide itself due to the small amount of brain parts it uses has a very bad selection of social related parts. If nothing went wrong, Deku would have been so close to the escape gate, he would have no choice but to go through, or everyone would be asking why he didn't, making Deku's original quirk potentially get spotted. Which we also see Deku displaying none of the mental manipulation that commonly is done to make him unable to identify conflicting to the plan details.
I might be able to reach it!
Which was done before in this match to keep Deku pinned by that fence post, instead of using One for All to get out for a long time, allowing the lecturing of Bakugo to happen. But with how Deku wanted and saw the opportunity to get through the escape gate by himself easily, this shows that malfunctioning plan was not being pursued, but only temporarily, as All Might attacked Deku when he was in the air, hitting Deku to the ground, so Deku couldn't slip through the escape gate easily, now with All Might so close by, so deactivating social phobia effect. But since All Might was forced to charge at Deku head-on blindly, he kept his hands as far away from Deku and kept an eye on them to make sure Deku didn't slip a handcuff on, showing All Might still didn't know for sure if Deku couldn't use the catcher strategy. But the weird angle All Might was forced to attack Deku to keep his hands safe accidentally led to Deku getting a partially broken back. With Deku on the ground, Deku's original quirk started back up as the malfunctioning helped Bakugo plan, but Deku's original quirk didn't have time to factor in the partially broken back, which can be shown as Deku was thinking he needed to get All Might away from Bakugo by heading to the escape gate, forcing All Might to attack him.
I'll keep going, even if it hurts. If I head toward the gate, then All Might will have to stop me before I can get there, which means Kacchan can take advantage of that.
And even powering up, putting on a light show, showing All Might, Deku looked to be about to, within seconds, make it through the escape gate, which All Might charge in to attack. That obviously would have required a heavy amount of mental manipulation, as Deku's eyesight was blurred by the attack and was barely able to move, so clearly should have not been thinking that way, but instead should be factoring in the severity of those injury signs. But fortunately, Bakugo instead immediately defended Deku from getting attacked, and was taken down, which in that time, Deku's original quirk was able to factor in the damage to Deku's back, which Deku's original quirk readjusted its plan accordingly. We should saw that at that point, due to damage, whatever the next move it makes has to have Bakugo get through the escape gate, or the plan will fail. We can see the final strategy first had Deku not head to Bakugo immediately, but just stood by, even powering down, making Deku look like he isn't a threat, probably hoping though injury signs from before would help Deku look like he's not able to reach the escape gate. To be allowed to wait there, but Deku waiting there meant his original quirk was waiting for something, which we can see when Deku charged in to hit All Might. Basically, All Might barely didn't have enough time to when he turned around to not be able to dodge getting hit directly in the face with a full-blown one-fall attack, which immediately sent All Might past his limit, powering down, unable to pursue Deku, as Deku carried Bakugo through the escape gate. Which, since All Might has a limit to how long he can keep his powerful form up, this was Deku's original quirk, seeing the opening and maximizing their chances to put All Might over the limit by waiting till the last moment to deliver the most powerful attack Deku can directly to All Might's face, giving the highest chance to put All Might past this limit. So why Deku was forced to let Bakugo basically get finished off by All Might, which when Deku got to Bakugo, he was unconscious. But he didn't need to be conscious to be carried through the escape gate. Deku's original quirk also had to have used its nullifying of Deku's pain ability, and a physical manipulation that when used together, moves Deku's broken body in the best ways despite injuries, to have Deku, who is just before basically unable to move, do everything that he did while carrying a very heavy person despite having a partially broken back. We can hear All Might thinking about how Deku rushes in to save people. It's just his nature. Thinking about the incident that made Deku get chosen to receive One for All, seeming similar to what just happened with Deku heroically helping others.
He easily could have shot through the gate himself and passed the exam for them both. This is how you've been from the beginning. You can't help but save those who need rescuing, even if they aren't asking you for any help. That's the kind of hero you've always been.
Which shows All Might still doesn't understand Deku's original Quirk orchestrated the event to get One for All. Since they probably treat Deku a lot differently than they do now if they figured that out, this just confirms what I already suspected. That they just assumed Deku's original Quirk assisted Deku during the event he got One for All instead of the truth. Deku's original Quirk took advantage of what was happening to get One for All power from All Might and orchestrating the event. Now, I know some of you didn't see my latest UA Trader research, but in that one I uncovered that Deku's original Quirk has a smiling side effect that occurs if Deku's original Quirk pushes Deku to extremes, which was shown in this event just as Deku was about to punch All Might and carry a heavy person with a partially broken back, so it was pushed to extremes, which a smile appeared. But since Deku was not the focus of that research project, was revealed about an hour into that UA Trader video, I decided to not get any more details than what was needed to show Deku is related to UA Trader Ragdoll. But now that I am focusing on Deku while reaching a point the smiling side effect happens, I will finally dive into that research, which is the key thing I want to analyze is how is it triggered, which we have 3 events. This one, the Deku vs Todoroki UA Sports Festival match, and Deku rescuing Bakugo from the sludge villain, which will all 3 being screamed different events have plenty of information that we can compare to see which variables are always there to determine what triggered it. We can see in this event Deku had severe physical injuries, but since Deku didn't have it in the sludge villain attack, basically being in perfect health, that's not a factor. It is clear the situation needed a severe level of mental manipulation, making Deku bizarrely ignore his injuries, which both others had bizarre alterations to Deku's thoughts processes, which Deku, not seeing how bad it was to keep fighting Todoroki as his body was being ripped apart, then during the smile decided to soon after power up to launch killing attacks to try to win after he got Todoroki to use his fire quirk, so clearly bizarre. And in the sludge villain attack, Deku thinks he just can't stand back and watch Bakugo die was why he went in there, which with how much danger Deku was in with no obvious sign Bakugo needed immediate rescuing, as it looked like a prolonged hostage situation, which again is a sign of mental manipulation, which Deku saying that out loud had All Might get motivated to choose Deku to be the next wielder of One for All, so probably was due to Deku's original Quirk altering his mind to make sense of what he just did, because before, Deku was just clearly seeing his legs were moving automatically, and this was very off. Like, something was definitely wrong. So severe mental manipulation with severe messing with Deku's decisions, making it a shared factor in all 3 events. There was physical manipulation to hit the window of opportunity in this event, to hit All Might last second. But when Deku smiled with Todoroki, Deku wasn't moving, which I think we can still keep it, as clearly Deku's original Quirk was ripping apart Deku's body just before and was trying to keep him moving with a heavy level of physical manipulation that could potentially carry over into the pause with how much damage Deku had, while he seemed to be standing there fine. Instead of keeling over, which it is unclear how much tied into physical manipulation the keeping pain signals from affecting Deku is, which often goes hand in hand with keeping Deku's body moving past what it should be able to, so the current list is a high level of physical manipulation and mental manipulation, plus having Deku initially commit to a bizarre strategy, will have the smiley side effect activate a short period of time later, as there was a delay between it activating all three events after the mentioned before criteria was met. As we get more times the smiling side effect happens, this list may change over time as more data is collected. That seems to be all the information stored here, so I'll end my video here. In the next event, the Summer Training Camp Attack. It is not only what I believe it is the end game getting set into motion, but also the original evidence that had me find the two double agents in the League of Villains, Dabi, Toga, and also the UA Trader, which is Ragdoll, which happened due to Deku's original quirk, though doesn't tell Deku what it knows. It will still change how it interacts with things it figures out, which clearly in this event, when I basically observed such a massive level of anomalies, I knew there had to be something hidden underneath causing all of it, which made me look carefully, which actually led me to all three of them. This has been a Deer Runner, the Run of Deer. Thanks for watching.